How do we discharge our stored energy post-threat? In this video, we explore how our self-awareness interrupts our automatic threat response system and can cause us to hold into our threat responses instead of discharging the energy. Successfully discharging the energy is key to recovering from trauma. So, all this energy, how are we supposed to discharge all of this that is stored up? Because surely so many of us are releasing it in a very unhealthy way.
Well, you're on the right lines, but in a way you're asking the question backwards, because the question is, why aren't we doing what a gazelle can do? Surely we're more sophisticated than gazelle. What are they getting right that we're getting wrong? Why would that happen? And the answer is because actually what the gazelles do is unconscious and automatic. They'll run for their lives, they'll freeze when overwhelmed, and they'll come out of the freeze when they survive, and then they'll be fine. We interrupt that with our self-awareness, because what's happened with humans is we've become, not only are we automatic machines, but we've also become, if you like, kind of observers of our automatic machines. And then we desire to change the world around us. So we discover the world, including ourselves. And then the great advantage of humans is we manipulate that. So we make it the way we want it to be. So you and me are sitting here in a warm, comfortable room, whereas animals outside are getting cold and wet, because this is the way we want it to be. Now, when I start to re-experience the threatening experience of being, say, about to be caught by a lion, but there's no lion around, I don't want that experience. So, I'm fighting the mammal in me, is saying, okay, let's discharge this energy that was built up during a time of threat and stress that was too overwhelming to deal with at the time. The mammal is going that direction, but the human thinking brain is saying, actually, no. This not only doesn't feel good and I don't like it, but it doesn't really fit in with my 11:30 meeting with my boss to do this right now. And anyway, what the hell is wrong with me? This is crazy. Why would I be feeling like this right now? So because we can't see the lion is now invisible, we don't make any sense of it. And when we don't make sense of something, we feel hugely threatened. It's part of the human condition that we actually accumulate a sense of safety by understanding things. So when something happens which doesn't seem to make sense, it's like another threat, it's like another lion. And that's the worst thing you can do when you're trying to recover from a threat, is to be in threat again.
And safety, you talk a lot about this word safety in your book, which is very important. And as you say, when you're a baby, how important that is between the baby and the caregiver. Can you give an example of that as an adult, that word of safety, and how much we need that?
Yeah, well, safety is really interesting. It can be a double-edged sword, because what happens, let's say you've had 10 experiences of being chased by a lion, and you froze in overwhelm, and you've got all this stuff stored up in your system. Looking at the story of the lion and gazelle, when is it that you're going to start discharging it? It's when the lion's gone, right? So it's actually when the real safety in your environment improves. That's when your nervous system can start to let go of what it had to clamp down on because it was so overwhelmed. So if you can imagine you're kind of completely dissociated and shut down, and then things get safer, what's going to happen next? Basically, your whole system is going to start to say, great, we're safe now. We can start letting some of this stuff out. And the problem is the stuff you're letting out is the response to danger. So ironically, sometimes by life becoming really safer, we can start to feel as if our system, our bodies and minds, is beginning to react as if things are more dangerous. And this makes relationships very complicated. But your question is really about what's the importance of safety. The first importance of safety is that you're never going to recover from anything until you stop being in threat. Because the whole problem is that you've accumulated too much threat, too much of a response to threat. So the second thing you've got to do is tolerate the reaction of your body to safety. And that's also quite difficult. So it's very complicated. And you notice this in people. People are self-sabotaging and self-defeating all the time. Why? Why, on the one hand, do we say things like, I just want to settle down and be happy with someone and have a nice little safe home and family or whatever. And then, find opportunities for that and sabotage it.